So this is solving absolute value equations, part 3. Here we have the equation -4 equals -3 minus the absolute value of 7 minus 2w. So I would like the absolute value on the left-hand side. So what I'm going to do is switch sides of the equation. That's going to give me -3 minus the absolute value of 7 minus 2w equals -4. Next thing I would do is change my subtraction to addition of the opposite. And when I do that, I do addition of the opposite. And now I've got this negative sign sitting right outside the absolute value bar. So that's really multiplication by -1. Alright, so the next step is I want to get rid of the -3, and I do that by adding 3 to both sides of the equation. That gives me -1 times the absolute value of 7 minus 2w equals -4 plus 3 gives me -1. Now my absolute value is not isolated yet. I still have this multiplication by -1. So I need to divide both sides by -1. The -1 divided by -1 cancels, leaving me with the absolute value of 7 minus 2w equals -1 divided by -1 is +1. Now I have my absolute value isolated. We remember that our absolute value is non-negative, and it's set equal to 1, which is a non-negative number. So this is going to have some solutions. So we set up our two equations. 7 minus 2w equals 1, and then our second equation is 7 minus 2w equals -1. I would do my addition of the opposite, so addition of the opposite, as well as over here, addition of the opposite. So now I need to get rid of 7, so I can either subtract 7 or add -7, it doesn't matter. So I'll just subtract 7. 7 minus 7 is 0, so that cancels, leaving me with -2w equals 1 minus 7 is going to give me -6. And then finally, to get rid of the -2, that's -2 times w, so I would have to divide by -2 on both sides. -2 divided by -2 is 1, so that cancels, and I have w equals -6 divided by -2 is +3. So there's my first solution. Now I move on to my second equation. I still have to get rid of this 7, so I can do so by subtracting 7 from both sides. 7 minus 7 is 0, so that cancels. And I have -2w equals -1 minus 7 is -8. Now I need to get rid of this multiplication of -2, so I divide by -2 on both sides. -2 divided by -2 is 1, so that cancels. And I have w equals -8 divided by -2 is +4. So my two solutions are w equals 3 and w equals 4.